can build so many houses, but if we don't deal with solid waste, then the mountain of solid waste will accumulate and we will not see the vision.
Our interest is to make Kenya a planning society.
Then we must promote waste separation in a very deliberate and structured way.
There's a huge cost in managing waste.
Rapid urbanization is real and presents with it both opportunities and challenges. Kenya, for instance, is riding on a 4-point agenda to arrest the burdens of urbanization. The main area of focus pivots around housing and the essential services. There seems to be a deep problem about how the country has been handling waste. Did you know that every Kenyan citizen generates at least 1 kilogram of solid waste every day? That translates to 40,000 tons of solid waste a day. Some of the concerns that have emerged from the piling stacks of solid waste include the disconnect between the primary waste collectors, the cottage industry operators, and the waste processing plants. Limitations in the operating environment of the primary or informal waste management arena, and the technological deficiencies at the primary waste level are some of the key issues. The illustrated gaps informed the inaugural civil society dialogue on solid waste management. The conversation came against the backdrop of the call to action adopted during the 1st October 2018 World Habitat Day celebrations, calling upon CSOs to play an integral role in promoting waste-wise cities by adopting the 5R principles of reduce, reuse, recycle, rethink, and refuse.
Our role as a national government is to coordinate, to ensure that we have land that is put together for housing. And mostly we want to start with land that is owned either by the national government or county government.
And the question is, how do we start to think whether we can harness this waste that will be coming from the households? Because all it takes is to say, these households have some mechanism for separation, so that the organic fraction is clean.
And I'm paying a lot of attention to see what is it that the government, NEMA, the ministry can do to unlock some of the barriers, because I believe CSOs, the private sector, NGOs are going to provide us the solutions.
This maiden discourse sought to promote learning, exchange, and networking in solid waste management innovations, technologies, and policy instruments that facilitate integration of informal practices into the formal solid waste management value chain and the affordable housing delivery plan.
If you get to Kitwe town now, you will never find a single plastic bag because it's a resource. A woman sees it, sees money. We now using the plastic papers to make kiondos. And surprisingly, these kiondos were even exhibited in the UN during the ban of plastic papers. We were part of the exhibitors there. We need to do some innovations to convert this charcoal dust into resource. And we are using this project, we're calling it Takeni Pesa. I can tell you that the ladies, the women groups that we have trained up to today, they have made close to 1 million shillings out of these briquettes. The green ones, we're taking these for agriculture, urban agriculture. So we're using them to grow vegetables. It's something that is quick picking very fast. On the other flammable solid waste in town, we have a factory, a mango factory, that is producing quite a good number of products. We are using it as a source of energy in production. You realize most of the trainees that we have trained here are now working in the county government as cashiers in cleaning the towns, because we have also been partnering the county government to clean Kitwe town every month.
We have an integrated model of collecting, sorting, composting, and recycling. We've been able to recycle up to 95% of the waste collected, and the 5% that we don't recycle is the one now that goes to a landfill or to the dump site. The 5% is the diapers that we've not gotten a solution for. We've been able to separate waste up to 45 fractions, dry waste. And the organic waste, we've been able to do compost, fertilizer. And then the other organic, we've been able to sell to the pig farmers. So every fraction has a solution.
We recycle assorted type of waste from the biodegradable, which is 60% in every town, to make organic fertilizer. But that fertilizer to become a good fertilizer, it must be enhanced by using garbage enzyme. The garbage enzyme is our own innovation, which we make from fruit peels. Then from the charcoal dust, we are using it to make the fertilizer, because the charcoal dust is what we call the potassium, while we get our calcium from eggshells.
We constructed a house with a showroom that is a shop using nearly 5,628 glass wine bottles and plastic water bottles. The center now is a public attraction, tourist attraction, and also is a center of learning, because many institutions, government institutions are coming around there to learn, and the community. We want to construct an accommodation for researchers.
In Lamu, we have formed an organization already. It's called Plastic and Waste Collection. And we did this collection of plastic collection, and finally we form a very big board. I think some of us, they have seen it the last 2 weeks. From donkey's waste, we made charcoal.
Anyone who knows anything about Sweden and waste management? Anyone?
But one thing I know is that Sweden is also converting its own electricity using the pyrolysis oil that we are doing in Tika.
You don't believe it in counties, regions, the specific regions. I'll give an example of this in Tuna in the south. They've run out of waste. They actually import waste. If I may give an example, color-based technology for sorting out waste where there are no humans involved. And out of that, you get not just your recycled material, but you get a lot of public transport is powered directly from this waste management.
For us, we are unable to use our waste, while there are those who are importing waste. Any waste in Asia, and we need it, while in Kenya, we don't need it. I'm not saying we don't need it, waste is money. Yeah, so what is the problem?
I have a fear, which could be unfounded, that very soon you're going to start fighting for my waste. and you might start fostering collection cartels. How do you think we should go ahead?
Kachok dump site, which was among the things 10 that the governor promised that he'll work on. But the challenge that we have now is that as the dump site is being reduced, as they remove the waste, again, the produced waste is brought back to the same site.
I really want to know about the quality assurance of these products that we're generating in terms of the organic fertilizer, and our gentleman from the diaspora is doing some good work in terms of recycling waste plastics to make products.
These were the priority areas.
Housing is multifaceted, and it is addressed in a multidisciplinary manner, and it cuts across many issues. And that's why the government of Kenya thought it was necessary to have a national secretariat for human settlements, which is based in the Department of Housing. And its work is to coordinate stakeholders in the participation in local, national, regional, global forum on housing and urban development and human settlements.
When we talk about low-cost housing or social housing, it's not about the four walls that consist of a house, but I talk about something totality, human settlement, that looks at, of course, the shelter itself. We also look at issues about the infrastructure within that particular settlement. But most importantly, we are also looking at issues of services within that particular settlement.
Very tall buildings, a lot of apartments coming up, and nobody thought of what we do. Why haven't we thought of the impact of changing the land use of the area to allow for compact and more dense development? We should have started with the sewage. So as you are building your houses, can you also engage people on how they will live in those houses? So they know these are the values that we want you to bring to this neighborhood that we are creating, isn't it?
How do we ensure that communities are at a point where they can be able to take responsibility for their own waste? Then we must promote waste separation in a very deliberate and structured way. We must have policies and legislations that are expressly providing for mechanisms of waste separation.
It's possible to have segregation of waste, but even for those who are planning, the architects, when they are designing the houses and they are putting the can they also put compartments to enhance separation of waste?
So there's need to build capacity for county government to understand the issue of waste management.
There's a huge cost in managing waste. For the truck to come, for you to get workers to collect the waste, and for transporting that waste to the dump site, there's an expense that is incurred.
If you look at the budget at the counties, most of it goes to the recurrent expenditures. But more so, the Department on Environment is one of the least funded. The other thing is county spatial plans. I know most of the counties have not or are in the process of developing. Most of you are planners and you know the cost of these plans. So there's need actually for partnership.
We recognize the value of integrating solid waste management within the affordable housing delivery scheme under the Big Four agenda, and shall take necessary measures to cooperate and coordinate our actions to contribute more effectively to the delivery plan. Secondly, we recognize the value of the CSO's contribution to the solid waste management value chain under the National Solid Waste Management Strategy, and shall seek to influence the responsible authorities, NEMA included, to ensure an integrated licensing and regulatory environment that promotes ease of doing business and enforces the payback plan in the renewal of licensing. We appreciate the government, both national and county government, role in providing an enabling environment for CSOs to engage in solid waste management and seek to strengthen our collective participation in the design, and we're meaning design, so that we're not Johnny-come-latelys, that you only say, okay, where do we plug in at the end of the day? But part of the design discussion, the implementation and monitoring of the government programs such as CSUDP, Big Four agenda, and so on and so forth. We acknowledge the urgent need for cultural revolution as a means of catalyzing a progressive culture change at the household level to stem the solid waste management menace and take responsibility in cooperating in an awareness and sensitization measure that targets the grassroots communities. We appreciate the critical role that planning plays in shaping the solid waste management value chain and take cognizance of the legal channels laid out for various plans at the county level, and shall take all appropriate measures to empower CSOs to engage more proactively in the development, implementation, and monitoring of the Urban Integrated Plan, Sector Plans, CIDPs, and so on. Such beautiful ideas, good innovations, but as Nora was arguing here, it's only with them. It's not perhaps even in government space, not even in some of our spaces. So I think it's important that we start to see how do we manage this knowledge, how do we make it accessible, how do we build onto best practice portfolio database so that the extent to which we educate others is based on actual practice.